Hi everyone, it's lovely to see you. I'm Lorna and we're reading Amelia Fang and the Bookworm Gang by Laura Ellen Anderson, and this is chapter 5, More of an Eggshell. Amelia and her friends decided to sit together and do their story writing homework in Tangine's bedroom. Amelia tucked herself in the corner so that nobody would notice that she still hadn't started her story. Most of the pages in her notebook were either scratched out ideas, doodles of pumpkin, or splodges of brain pie. Amelia had been counting on the library to give her inspiration. Now that it was out of bounds, she wasn't sure what to do. Her mother's words rang through her head. "Don't be afraid to ask for a little help if you need it, my little fart vest." No, Amelia thought to herself, everyone's expecting me to come up with a good story. I shouldn't need help from anyone. She shook her head and chewed at the end of her batwing pen anxiously. "I'm already halfway through my adventure story," cheered Florence. "That's great, Florence," said Grimaldi, who was curled up on Tangine's bed with his notebook. "I'm about to write the most tragic moment in mine," Tangine sang, then pretended to fall on the floor and die. Amelia didn't say anything. "Amelia," said Florence, edging up to her friend. "You're very quiet and you look a bit pale, as in paler than your usual vampire paleness." "Yeah, you're a little grey round the edges," Grimaldi added. "I'd say she looks more eggshell," said Tangine, taking hold of Amelia's chin and studying her face. "In fact, your complexion is quite awful, but I can sort that right out for you. I have some of my Every King's Sparkles cheek cream in my drawer of creams." "She doesn't want none of your cheek and cream," said Florence, shoving Tangine out of the way. "What's up, Amelia?" Amelia closed her notebook. "Nothing," she said with a fake fang-filled smile. "Just thinking about my story." "Well, I can't wait to hear it," said Florence. She put a big hairy arm around Amelia's shoulders and hugged her tight. "All this writing is making me pretty hungry, though." "Oh, Sean the mummy maid makes the best armpit sweat shakes," said Tangine. "I'll get him to make some for us and we can read our stories to each other. It'll be divine. Oh, and tragic, of course." "It'll be tragic, all right," Amelia muttered to herself quietly. Whilst Sean, the mummy maid, brewed the armpit sweat shakes, Amelia decided to take a little walk around the palace on her own. How could she share her story with her friends when she hadn't even started writing it? "I'm just going to the toilet," she said, popping her notebook in her pocket. Tangine waved a hand. "Don't use the one on the 5th floor," he said. "One of the mummy maid's legs fell down it and now it's blocked." Amelia trudged down the quiet and long shiny corridors of Nocturnia Palace. The Loose Limbs Library lay ahead of her, and Amelia became lost in a world of thoughts about all the wonderful stories that had been eaten by the bookworms. "The full moon rose!" The words boomed loudly down the silent corridor, almost knocking Amelia off her feet in surprise. It was coming from inside the library. Amelia crept closer to the library doors. "And the beautiful Pumpkin Queen returned!" Amelia gasped. "Wait a minute," she said to herself. "That's a line from one of my favourite Nocturnian tales." Amelia's curiosity got the better of her. She carefully pulled away the black ribbon, took a deep breath, and as quietly as she could, pushed the door open. Creak! Amelia winced. She really wished every door in Nocturnia didn't creak so much. She held her breath for a second and listened for any movement. Silence. She slipped through the door and tiptoed into the seemingly empty library, making her way over to a scattered pile of books. She spotted a copy of The Pumpkin Whisperer, her favourite book, lying open on the floor and picked it up. There was a huge bite-shaped hole right through the middle of it. Something wet and slimy suddenly dripped onto Amelia's hand. A long dark shadow stretched across the room. Amelia looked up very slowly. Two large bright eyes shone out of the darkness. A large drilling mouth opened wide, displaying hundreds of sharp little teeth with bits of pages stuck in all the gaps. It was a bookworm. Join me for chapter 6.